All right, there we go. Just wanted to make sure my bit rate was in the green, not flat. Morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to today's Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream. I'm your host and pilot, as always, Uncle B. Today, this was kind of an impromptu thing that I came up with last night as I was dozing off while half watching, half listening to Scruffy's stream. Not that he put me to sleep, but I my sleep has been erratic since I've had this accident. So anyway, so the other day, not yesterday, but a few days ago, I got a comment on a Microsoft one of my videos over on YouTube. Um, so basically, the gist of today's video is going to be: is this sim for you on the Xbox Series S or X? Whichever one you can afford, is it an option? Um, I'd say yes and no. And I'm going to say yes because if, well, the let me back up here while we're waiting to see if anybody shows up and says hello, and if not, that's perfectly fine. Um, the first thing you should understand about this sim, it is not perfect. And it probably will never be perfect. There's going to be things that are going to happen if you get into this sim that is going to boggle you. It's going to make you want to pull your hair out. It's going to frustrate you. I just want you to know that going in, that there's times that things are going to happen that you are just kind of like, what just happened? Why did this happen? What did I do? You know, because sometimes it does require a bit of self-reflection to say, I see where I screwed up on the approach, or I did this wrong, or whatever, and you can learn from it. But other times there's things that will happen in the sim that you have no control over. It's just the sim has its own agenda, as I like to call it, right? So understand that first. Now, the good news is there's some things that are changing here in the next month or so. I don't want to say for sure in March. It could be pushed to April or May or who knows. But basically, the issue that we found on the Xbox side is that as Jorg last year stated, the Xbox is a closed garden when it comes to the Microsoft Flight Simulator on the console. But they're making some changes to bring more aircraft um, here in at the whenever that fix is implemented, and from there on out, we should be getting stuff that the PC side is getting. Right now, we are way behind. You'll see a lot of simmers will get the shiny new toy, and then you're just like, what about me? And it may be weeks, it may be months before you see it. Okay. So I want you to know that going in, there is some positive changes. Once that fix is implemented, it's going to open up a whole world of aircraft that we have not had access to over this past year. Okay. The other thing you have to think about is how much time can you commit, or if you're like this person said they were a casual gamer. If you can commit a couple hours a week, or 2 hours on a Saturday or whatever, then yeah, you can get a lot out of this. you know the other thing too is you don't have to spend you should excuse me, you should not have to spend any money if you want to just dip your toe into the sim. If you've got the Game Pass, I think still the base game has a lot for you to use. Okay, a lot of aircraft. You won't have to spend any money right off the bat on other aircraft. Okay, in order to get some kind of enjoyment out of it. If you decide, my advice is, if you get it on the Game Pass, you download the base game, and I'll show you before we end the stream here at some point today. I don't know how long this video is going to be because we're going to do a couple things once I'm done yapping here. Um, there's like a in sim flight school, okay, and so try that. You do that for a little bit and see, okay, yeah, I think I can stick with this. Or you can decide to skip the flight school and just try to jump right into the deep end. I don't recommend, don't go right into trying to find a jetliner and go like, ooh, I'm gonna fly this, and then it goes horribly wrong, and then you're just like, I don't know what happened. Okay. Some people did that, and then they were like, oh, I'm forgetting all about the, start with the general aviation stuff. Just get, because one of the things I struggled with early on was just getting comfortable with the controls on the Xbox, flying in the sim, just using a standard controller. I don't have a yoke and throttle and pedals or anything like that. I don't have a fancy setup. I just have a standard controller. Okay. And you can use that for the time being, but you're going to probably develop some bad habits, possibly. You know that may, if you decided to, this is something you really want to do as a, for fun, you can end up spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on peripherals and all kinds of stuff. So just be aware of that, that, you don't want to, uh, you know, think about what you can commit to, or what you feel like, oh yeah, I can do this. Also, understand, if you're married and you have a family, of course that comes first. Um, so think about it as far as, is your significant other going to say, yep, you can have, are they going to be okay with you having 2 hours on a Saturday, to play flight simulator? So just think about all those things. If you're single or whatever and you don't have to worry about that, then hey, there you go. But uh um don't, try to, make sure that they, your significant other understands what you want to do, and if they're okay with it, hey, more power to you. Um so today, what we're gonna do, if you decide to bypass the InSim flight school, which you can, but there's a if you're new to it and everything, there's a lot of fundamentals that will give you some foundations in order for you to have a better experience. But one of the things that when I finally got on the forums, and I highly recommend, and for those of you who are on who are listening to this on Saturday on YouTube, if you scroll through my description, there's a couple of things that you can look at. One, go to the Microsoft Flight Simulator forums and join the forums. Doesn't cost you anything. Just, or you don't even have to join. Just look, if you want to respond, you'll have to create an account. But if you just want to see what's going on, the forums are the best place to go. Now, I will say, um, on the Xbox side, generally a vast majority of the people in the community are very welcoming. Not always, but there's always those outliers in the PC community who are kind of like, will always have a grudge against the Xbox side. There's some people who are adamant in their belief that the console should have never gotten the sim, and there's nothing that can ever be said or anything that is going to change their mind. They are pissed that you're here, but on average, a vast majority of the simmers are very welcoming. If you're on the Xbox, it's fine. They're happy to have you here, you know. But there are some people who feel that way, that the console should have never gotten the sim. But that's a very low percentage. Okay, and on the forums they do to try to, if somebody takes a swipe at the Xbox community, they their comments are deleted, or I guess if it's that severe, maybe they get banned from the forums. I don't know, but anyway, so check that out. There is a list. There's another website in the description on every one of my Microsoft Flight Simulator videos, and I always put the same information in there. that talks about what you get with each level of. There's three different levels of flight sim. You have the standard, and then you have like premium and premium deluxe. So look at what you get with the standard, and then with the premium and premium deluxe, you get some more aircraft and a few more handcrafted airports, but that's about it. But try the free stuff first. That way, you're not investing anything but your time to decide if this is something that you really want to get involved with. Okay. Because then it's your time and then it becomes money. Okay. And if you're struggling, then it's kind of like, well, at least with the base game, you have more than enough stuff to play with in order to get your feet wet in the sim and decide if it's something that you really want to get involved with. Okay, let me look at because I want to make sure. Now, the aircraft that we're going to start in here first is the one that you fly in the flight school here on the sim. Okay. Um, so yeah, this is just a standard prop plane, nothing fancy. Doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. Okay, which is fine. So what we're gonna do is what we call a circuit. Okay, this is the one thing that everybody said. Do once you complete the in-sim flight school, if you decide to, this is the next thing you can do. Now, I recommend going to a flying from an airport that is near you. Okay, if you have like a small, like this one, Kilo Hotel Whiskey Delta, Hayward Executive. I grew up in this area, so I know no matter which airport I go in and out of, I know the area. So that helps the familiarity. It helps if you know kind of like, oh, I know exactly where I am and in relation to everything. Okay. So it helps if you do that. All right. Um, so basically, what we're going to do, we're going to start up the aircraft. Now, you don't always have to start off in a parking spot. You can start off right on the runway, and the plane's ready to go. All you have to do is maybe get your aircraft set up a little bit more, but generally, you can take off from there. So we're going to go to runway 10 right, this one, um, and we're going to fly out, and we're going to fly down and around. We're just kind of going to make a big loop, and then as we come back heading up past here, we're going to call in and say we're ready to land, and we should land on the same runway. Okay. So we'll see which way they want us to come in at. It should be we should get a pattern entry somewhere over in here. So what we'll do is if we're flying back and we can make a big turn and then come back around and then come back in and land. Okay, so we'll cover all that. That's like the best thing that they say you can do. Do that a bunch of times just to get familiar with the controls and get because it's going to feel you're going to overcorrect and you're going to probably overcorrect a lot when you first start out, and either the plane's going to go shooting up in the air and stall, or it's going to go nose down and crash. Morning, Ashev. Yeah, a little bit of a surprise. This wasn't planned. I'm just trying to answer some questions for anybody who's thinking about getting in the sim now, especially on the Xbox side. Um, so if you crash, it's okay. Don't don't get frustrated. Don't rage quit. Don't throw the controller through the TV or anything like that. It's gonna happen, and that's okay. It nobody's dying or anything like that if you crash the plane in the sim. All right, you have to understand that. So don't worry about stuff like that. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't have the multiplayer on, Ashev. I'm offline, but yeah, you're more than welcome to do your own thing, whichever, however, whatever you want to do. It's fine. Um, and we'll talk more about getting into the multiplayer aspect of it. One of the good things is if you decide that this is something you really want to do, there are many streamers out there who welcome other people flying with them. Okay, that's a great way to learn. Just get up in the air, just knock out some hours. If you can't, like many streamers I know, they have these, they do like these flying tours, and they'll take off from one airport and they'll go over another one or whatever, or you can decide how what you want to do and how you want to do it. Okay, so don't think that you have to. Oh, you're in the Corvette. Watch you getting ready to watch me take off. Okay. Um. So don't don't think that you have that just because you're on the Xbox that you can't fly with anybody else. You can, and I highly encourage it. There's plenty of people out there, and on the YouTube side, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in some names of people that if you're new and you just want to get a feel for things, I there's streamers I highly recommend that they're very welcoming if you have questions or whatever, or if you just want to hop in and fly and just get some hours under your belt and all that. They're more than happy to have you along. So uh, without further ado, I suppose let me go ahead and so what we're gonna do, I've turned off the live weather. We have nothing but clear skies. So the second flight we're gonna do is gonna be live weather. Okay. Um, but I'll advance the time so we have some sunny uh, sky, or some light in the sky to see. So I'm gonna go ahead. Or actually, I'll just spawn in and we'll advance the time. Okay. So let me go ahead and spawn in here, and I'll start the aircraft up. But again, you don't always have to do the startup. You can spawn in on the runway. The aircraft's pretty much ready to go. You just have to change a few things and you're all set. Oh, it already changed it for me. There we go. All right, let's get the aircraft started up. Let's get this out the way. So this is a very standard plane. Not a lot to it. Oh, I probably need to. I don't think I. There we go. I think I saved it in time. Turn on my lights. All right. So yeah, very basic stuff. Um, so yeah, it's and we should go down. I don't know if I'll see Oshev in the Corvette. Oh, hold on. Like myself. All right. Yeah, I don't see the Corvette, but that's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and let them know we're okay. All right, I thought it was going to be 10 right. but apparently not. Okay, that's fine. All right, so that's perfect. All right, 28 left. So we're gonna taxi on down here. Now you can have all kinds of information on your screen while you're flying. This is as good as I like to get it, just so that I can kind of see some things, but it's not like overwhelming. Some people have all that kind of stuff off. Like in the flight in the cockpit or the flight deck. I have it kind of spared down here. So what we'll do is we're gonna climb out that way and fly out a little bit, and then come back around and land. And like I said before, it helps if you go to an airport near where you live, and especially flying in an area where you know kind of the area. I grew up in the Bay Area, so I kind of know where everything is, even though obviously over the years things have changed. But generally, there's certain certain things that I can look at and go like, oh yeah, I know exactly where I am, and I know where to go from here, kind of thing. So now this plane does not have an autopilot system in it. It's all manual. Um, like I said, it's the one that if you do the flight school, this is the plane that they'll have you fly. A lot of people prefer the Cessna 172. That's a good option. Both models, there's two different models, but they both have an autopilot system. So, all right, let me.
Tower Cessna November 237 Uniform Bravo ready for south departure at runway 28 left.
Yeah, so they want you to go all the way down there, and that's not really necessary. The actual takeoff point is here. That's okay. All right, let's do this. Throttle up. And away we go. Get a little bit of trim in so the plane continues to fly. Climb a little bit. There we go. So this part is usually the part that is somewhat the easiest to deal with. Right. And there we go. You're on your way. And there's Oakland International's right there. maybe, maybe not. So we'll just fly out a little bit here. Let the plane continue to climb a little bit. So this is one of those things that it's going to take you some practice to kind of get the feel the uh, for the controls. And you can fly. I flew for quite some time with the live weather off. Okay. Um,
Tower Cessna November 237 Uniform Bravo frequency. Squawk 0072 Cessna 7 Uniform Bravo.
and you don't have to know, like your co-pilot will handle all that stuff. So you don't have to worry too much about that. There's Oakland International. Now you're seeing nobody else in the sky with me right now because I have the multiplayer off. I recommend having that off until you feel comfortable about joining in a multiplayer flight with other players. All right, the sounds doesn't cut out. The controller just like went dead, even though it's fully charged. All right, so we're just going to kind of turn back here, and then we can call back to Hayward under the nearest airport list. And say we're coming in for landing.
Tower Cessna November 237 Uniform Bravo is 6 miles northwest, 2,400 feet of Sierra to land. Fly left traffic runway 28 left Cessna 7 Uniform Bravo.
All right, there we go. So we're just going to make a big U-turn right here, and that's our pattern entry right there. And they'll go over all this stuff in the flight school, in the NSIM flight school. But basically, this is like saying, okay, yeah, you can land in this. We prefer you to come in this way. Okay. So it does help to have that kind of a guideline and use that as much as you want, or not at all. It's up to you. Okay. Don't let anybody try to tell you that you shouldn't fly this way or whatever. You have to develop your own comfort level with the sim. Okay. But if you do a bunch of these traffic patterns or circuits as they call them, you'll get the feel for the plane and how to interact with it using a standard controller. There are cheap options for like a yoke and throttle or whatever, but you know, before you dive in and get all that kind of stuff, it's best that you know that this is something that you want to spend time doing. So So basically, we want to go right into that. So we want to start dropping some altitude. So this is basically what they call VFR flying. You can take off, you can see things visually, and you can look around and go like, "Yep, I know exactly where I am." There's Oakland International there. There's you know all kinds of areas that if you can see it and you're just like, "Yep, I know exactly where I am, which way I'm facing." Although having the little compass up there does kind of help. Now I normally have the multi. Actually, I'll show you. Hey, quit bragging. I have no. I don't usually either, but it does help when you fly in areas that you're somewhat familiar with. Like that does kind of give you I think it does help kind of calm the nerves. All right, so we'll start slowing down here. You still got to drop some altitude. Matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll show you the difference. So in a minute here, I'm going to swap planes. I'm going to turn the multiplayer back on, and then you'll see how much a little bit busier it is in the sky. Possibly. Not always, but possibly. So there's our airport to our left. And then a set of flaps down. We still got to drop some altitude here. Now, if you, good morning, Infidel. How are you? Um, if you wanted, I know I did a video on the entire flight school, and I'll try to link it in the video description for YouTube when I post this one, and you can kind of get a sense of what to expect. Because I did that first before I did anything else, really, and then I flew in this area in this little plane for quite some time just to you know see how it felt and all that. So there's Chabot Community College right there. Tom Hanks went to that school. And there is Southland Mall. We'll go right over the mall. And it's okay if you don't nail your landings right away. Just keep practicing at them. I mean, I still screw up my landings sometimes, and I've been in the sim for almost 2 years. Uh, Stream Minecraft. Ooh, that'd be interesting to see Sarge doing Minecraft. Alright, here we go. Now, if you look at this video and you look at the one when I was first flying, it's like night and day. You'd be surprised. Oh boy, can I get this one? There we go. Finally. Alright, we're on the ground. Still almost jacked that one up even though there was no wind. Alright, let's go back here and exit here. So yeah, if you do a bunch of those, oh, nice. I've watched people stream it. I've never played it myself. Oh. All right. Now it's gonna. No, I think I broke it. I got a little too quick on the tuning into the ground to get an ocean liner. Nice. All right, so we're just gonna park over here by this person waiting with the little tug thing there. Push back. Well, I can't acknowledge that I did since I was a little too quick on the. All right. So we'll shut everything off in the flight. Turn off the alternator and turn off the battery. There we go. Ooh, nice. I was going to stream Flight Sim today, but I didn't update. Yeah, they really, boy, I tell you, it was a fuss monster in the forums yesterday. Boy, people were mad. It's like, where's my update? You guys are just, like, wow. And so finally they did end up releasing it. So all right, let's change a couple things. Let's go back to here. Let me turn the multiplayer back on. Oops, apply and save. I tend to fly on the Southeast Asia server. Oh, it won't let me change it. I have to change to something else, and then it'll let me go to Southeast Asia. I prefer this one. It's generally pretty stable and not super busy. All right, so we're going to do this. It's going to get kind of, the weather's going to be a bit yucky here. And we want to do take this. Now, this aircraft is also 3 years. Holy wow! Sergeant staff. I'll pick a nice livery for our flight here. Something with a little bit of color. Oh yeah, let's go with the green. Why not? All right. So we're gonna fly in this nasty weather. We're gonna take off from Hayward and we're gonna go right up here to Vacaville, to my favorite little airport, the Nut Tree. And we're gonna do this. All of a sudden now I can't zoom in and out. Well, I tell you, do IFR low altitude. Wow, it's not giving me any kind of... Huh, okay. What about VOR to VOR? Nope, not even that. Okay, let's go a little bit farther then. How about... Yeah, it's not even giving me a... Huh, alright. I need something a little farther. How about, where did it do city? KMYV. Some streams were on the servers, saw it and convinced me. Oh, nice. And 2-3 or 1-4. All right, there we go. So that's still a 38-minute flight. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take off from runway 10 right, actually. And then we're going to turn out. We're going to intercept that, these points, and then we're going to descend into the airport here. Now, I don't know. Let's see if we have any approaches. ILS 14. Now we're not going to actually use the IL. We're going to line up, but we're not going to have. We're not going to use. We'll fly it in manually. That's okay. So all right, let's go ahead and do this. So just and then you did see I'm online now. So let's see how many people are in the sky once I spawn in here. But it's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride. All right. It has become a real thing where I want to unpack the stresses of life. Sometimes flight sim, although I do love it, causes me to... Yeah, that seemed to be one of the issues yesterday. Was people were like, well, you said this time, and then people in New Zealand are like, well, it's already past the 23rd, and now it's the 24th, and you said I was going to get it on the, like, yeah, people were like legit pissed with in the forums. We'll just go to 9,000 feet. Yeah, they were not happy at all. All right, so 9,000 feet we need to be at. Oh, we're going to stay at 9,000. I don't think that's correct, but all right. Well, we'll make decisions along the way to get us set up for success. So, all right, let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, this sim can. That's one of the things. This sim can frustrate you. There's going to be things that are going to happen. They're just like, what, why, what's going on here? And sometimes there's no explanation at all. It's just one of those things, you know. All right. So if you do GA, this is a great way to do this. Hold on, let me change the time a little bit just so that we have some sun in the sky here. All right, that's fine, right about there. And then there's should be an automated checklist. There we go.
Clearance delivery Beechcraft November 237 Uniform Bravo. Ready to copy IFR clearance to Kilo Mike Yankee Victor.
Beechcraft November 237 Uniform Bravo is cleared to Kilo Mike Yankee Victor Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 10 right climb and maintain 7,000 feet. Departure frequency is 124 decimal for squawk 1553.
I like to have a little bit of light in the plane.
Beechcraft November 237 Uniform Bravo. Cleared to Kilo Mike Yankee Victor Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 10 right climb and maintain 7,000 feet. Departure on 124 decimal for squawk 1553.
Dial in our first altitude. Flight director.
Oral warning, okay.
Ground Beechcraft November 237 Uniform Bravo.
All right. All right, there we go. There's that. 10 right is down that way. Good. Need the all right. Hold on a second. Somebody said something here. Let me scroll back up. Sorry, I'm. Terrain spikes or frame drops. Yeah, I know. Captain Arash canceled his flight today because there was a massive issue with the LOD. They called it. That. Yeah, he was like, nah, I can't figure out how to solve this issue. All right, so now you see a bunch of other. You see, well, not a bunch. You see 1, 2, 3 other nameplates. So there's your. That's what you'll see, and you'll see the type of aircraft usually. Not always, but sometimes you'll see the type of aircraft that somebody else is flying. Somebody's in the 747-8 over there. That should be over at SFO. They should be up in Oakland, I think. Those other two on the right there. All right. Yeah, nothing wrong with that, Sergeant Staff. Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all. All right, let's go pull out on here onto the runway. But yeah, this can be when it really works. It's a really fun thing to do. But when it's not, when there's all these issues or whatever, it can frustrate you and make you feel like change this to GPS. There we go. All right, and then let's get some vertical speed on, just so that we're climbing once we're in the air. All right, just go ahead and take off from right here. And away we go. Look at that. Oh. Look at that. Didn't even pull back on the stick. The plane's taken off on its own. And we should be climbing now. Yep, 1,000 feet per minute. And it's going to bring us back around here. There we go. Buzzing near my hometown. Love it. The toxicity drove you. Oh. Yeah, you know, I don't understand the reasoning or the thought process behind, you know, attitudes that, you know, if you enjoy it and all that, or, you know, like that's one of the things, like, I was thinking about getting into Minecraft, but it's like, it's not going to be one of those things where I'm going to take suggestions or whatever. It's going to be kind of like, I'm going to build this, and that's that, you know. So yeah, that's my only. So yeah, some people may not, like that sort of mentality. Yeah, exactly. But, you know, people come into other people's chats and go like, well, how come you're not doing it this way, and, you know, that sort of thing. You know, or why aren't you listening to me? You know, like I had to block somebody in Scruffy stream last night because they were getting very what's the word I'm looking for? They were getting a bit needy, I guess. You know, like they were looking for attention, and you know, it's just they kept getting, you know, highlighting their message, and it's just like, really, come on now, that's not what this is for. You know, people. What I notice is sometimes people treat streams like it's a therapy session, and it's like, no, that's not what this is for. This is a you know. All right, let's get some lights off here. Actually, we'll just leave the lights on. It doesn't hurt. So yeah, by the third or fourth time, I was like, all right, I can't, because otherwise I'm going to end up saying something that's going to hurt somebody's feelings, and I didn't want that. So I was just like, yeah, the block button is a good friend. All right, so we're on our way to Yuba City here in this crazy weather in the Bay Area. Still making our way to 7,000 feet, and we'll go up another 2,000 feet. Hello, Amela. So yeah, it was just a yeah, it was just kind of one of those out of nowhere, out of the blue. But I think what I think some people do is they're just like, I'm bored. I'm gonna go online and oh, I found a streamer and I'm gonna go in and you know be all. But anyway, we're kind of uh yeah, yeah. It was just a random person that popped in. Sorry, staff. I had what did I make last night? I kind of just snapped, I think. Nothing really exciting, Amela. I'll be honest. I know that's boring. I think I just kind of snacked a little bit in the evening. I watched Pulse stream, and then I watched Scruffy stream, and then I just was kind of like, ah, you know. I'm just all right. There we go. All right. Oops. All right. So, yeah, I just uh, I feel bad that he feels it necessary. No, I think he enjoys that because it's people that he feels are good, um, like good. Well, I don't know. I want to say ambassadors, but yeah, I guess you could say it that way. People who he feels are welcoming and kind of chill and just people that I think that he would hang out in real life with, kind of thing. I try not to I don't expect it, or if like something happens and I don't get a shout out, I don't go like over in a corner and cry my eyes out. Yeah, this is weather in California right now, live weather. Although the time is not live, but yeah. So this is what kind of like the live weather looks like. What you can expect. Um, you know, but you don't have to fly in the live weather right away. You can take your time and get to that point. But if you do, it can be a pretty amazing experience. So we're just going to cruise right here at 9,000 feet. We're making really good time. We're on our way to our next nav point there, which is which one are we heading to? Oki. I think I can turn the wipers off now. Oop. There we go. Now they're back where they should be. There we are, through the clouds and yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Right. But yeah, I do. That's one of the great things about the community is when especially if you're a streamer, it can be a very welcoming experience. People will get to know you and they'll be like, "Hey, go check this person out." And that's one of the best things about the community in general, I think. You know, just having that sense of, people will help you grow your channel, help you out with your simming experience. Well, yeah, we got a couple other people in the area here. Uh, Ronan's still in the 747-8. Yeah, and that's the great thing about it. You know, you put a lot of work into your, you know, you and Viper Strike both do these amazing slideshows, and you talk about all these different things, and you give people a sense of what they're where they're at, and yeah, it's phenomenal. You know, not many people. Oh, what just where did my line go? Oh, there it goes. Flying through the clouds again. Oh, that was like a sudden break there. Like it just suddenly turned. Man, that's like the coolest thing ever. You can just sit here, just look out, and check out the engine and the wing as you're flying. All right, what we can do. Oh, I didn't turn on my keto heats. There we go. All right, let's zoom out just a smidge here. $35, $50, $100. So we still got a bit of flying left to go. But yeah, you don't have to. Well, yeah, I enjoy content like that because it's like you research and talk about areas that most of us don't know about. Yeah, she flew with you on Sunday. Nice. Yeah, she popped in the other day when I was streaming the flight in Japan in the A320. She popped in, and I need to pop into her stream for a while here and there. I feel bad because I've been I follow so many people now because everybody's like, go follow this person and go. Oh, wow. All right, we're pretty much already here. So basically, what's going to happen now is they'll when I was just in the oh, nice. Well, not nice that you were in the hospital, but all right. So from here, they should start telling us when to descend and how far we should drop in altitude. So I don't think. Let's look at our. So yeah, we cannot drop on our own. We have to wait for them to tell us when to drop down in altitude. Wow, we made that was quick. Just update. Now the temperature changed a little bit. Wow, we made really good time zipping up here to Yuba City. Yeah, it is pretty speedy. Yeah, it's one of my favorite G8 planes. Like I flew this for quite some time. I enjoy it. It's really it once you move out of the 152, um, this is a good option for just, you know, doing a couple quick IFR flights, you know, like the one I'm doing right now. And it's okay if you don't understand all the jargon. it's, you can build your knowledge base and learn all the particulars and all that. So the lights are on. Okay, that's what I thought. All right. But yeah, this is a good option. But all right. Take care, Sergeant Staff. We'll see you around. Enjoy your day, what's left of it, or however however it goes for you. Enjoy your rest of your day at home once you get home from work. So yeah, I guess it is an option. It's just that once the bug got bitten by the bug, you will probably start thinking about peripherals and all that kind of stuff. I don't know all the particulars, the yokes, which is better and whatnot. Because I don't have any of that stuff yet. I'm looking to make the leap into the PC um, here in the near future, possibly. It's just a matter of when, not if. It's just, I've got a keyboard and mouse already, and I think I could use my 32-inch TV as my screen, my monitor. So I think I just need an adequate tower with an adequate graphics card that will. Oh, there's San Francisco International is right there below us, off to the right, somewhere down yonder. Oh, maybe a little bit farther up. Somewhere down there. But yeah, hopefully this answers some questions. You get a kind of a sense of what you can do. You literally can fly anywhere in the world. Wherever you think you want to go, there's chances are there's some kind of an airport somewhere that you can take off and land at. You can do scenic stuff. You can do long haul flights in a 747. So yeah, all kinds of stuff. All right, 26 and a half. All right. But yeah, I'll try to put in a bunch of other information in the YouTube description. Um, but yeah, hopefully this answers some questions. Um, I would say if you can, the X is probably the better option of the two. The processing power between the two it's not the same. The X has more processing power for the graphics than the S does. Look at this. What does this look like? Does this look like some sort of a weird alien landscape right now? Check this out. See, this is the kind of amazing stuff when you're in flight sim, that you come through the clouds and you come across a scene like this, and you're just like, wow, what am I looking at? So yeah, look at this, all this cloud formation, but it looks like a weird alien terrain, doesn't it? Check that out. That is just amazing. So yeah, if you can't get the X, if it's an option, if you can save up for that, because you got more space on the X than you do on the S. The processing power is a little bit better, um, but no matter what you fly on, whether it's PC or console, there are those strange issues. Just be aware of that. Um, so, where are we at? All right. I'm surprised, because this is going to be one of those situations where we're going to have to dump a lot of altitude very quickly. Because I'm not supposed to reduce altitude yet, because it's not telling me where to go. I mean, this is all pretty much flat area here, so I'm not worried about if I dump altitude here, that it's gonna affect my that I'm gonna run into a mountain. Although, you look there are some low mountains, but that's beyond our airport, I believe. There we go. Wow, I haven't even gotten to 3,000 yet. All right, we gotta dump quick. We're gonna start slowing down and get some flaps down, because we're gonna start speeding up here a lot. So I gotta get off the throttle a little bit too. There we go. All right. So that's one of those things that you're going to have to kind of start to figure out yourself sometimes, is making decision points. Sometimes you're going to be able to make decisions on your own, but you have to call in and say, "Hey, can I go down to this level of altitude?" A lot of people who fly without the ATC on and just kind of do their own thing. That's entirely up to you, how you want to do it. Oh yeah, we should have been dumping altitude a lot earlier than that. We got really. Sometimes this sim will make you wait forever before it gives you instructions. So sometimes once you feel comfortable, you can make decisions on your own, and then just let the ATC scream at you. Alright, looks like we're finally getting close to where we need to be. Alright. So yeah, just a quick video today. No, this is not going to be a very long one, but hopefully this answers some questions, and you can get an idea of the what to expect if you decide that this is something you really want to jump into. Alright, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to fly like a loop. So we're going to come around, and then we're going to make a big left turn, come back around and line up for approach. So we're able to dump some altitude, some serious amount of altitude there. we would have had plenty of time, but sometimes you don't really know what to expect until you're much closer to the airport. So, but we're right where we need to be, essentially. So, yay us. Yeah, okay. And what does that have to do with anything? Oh, it's not a towered airport. So traffic, that means that there's no tower there, and we're talking basically we're calling out saying we're coming in for landing, and all that. So that's why you hear that on the radio. Get our gear down. Otherwise, we'll forget that last minute. Get the last bit of flaps down. All right. All right, so basically what we did, we just made a big loop around, and we're coming back onto that Kulu nav point there. If we look, zoom out on the map here just a smidge. All right. So once we get there, we should get our pattern sort of lines to help guide us in. And we'll kind of use this display right here to kind of help us figure out where the runway is, because we're going to fly it in manually. Even though on the jetliners you can use the ILS approach and it'll kind of guide you in on its own, you know, and then you can take over at the very last minute and fly it the rest of the way in. Wow, I don't know if that's rain or if that's snow. I don't see any buildup. I don't have the ice turned on, so I don't see any buildup. The other thing too you should know is that when you make a flight plan the way I did before we took off from Hayward, what you see on the world map for that flight plan is not what you're going to see in a display like this. So like, I didn't expect that we were going to fly and then make a big loop around and then come back in. So you're not always going to see that sort of a you know, thing in you know, when you make that flight plan. So always, you know, kind of think of, or look at it and go like, yeah, this, I think I can do this, or no, this might be a little bit more crazier than I can handle at the moment, you know. But anyway. Alright, so there's that. Once we're past there, we should see our pattern entry. No, I don't think he did, Amela. I didn't see him in the chat. I've been trying to keep an eye on it, but no, I don't know where he is. There's no telling with that young man. All right, so we are on. Now, if I hit approach mode, oh, it did take it. Oh, well, there we go. Alright, so you can hit approach mode. So basically right now, what's happened is the ILS is locked in and it's guiding the aircraft because we're still on the autopilot. We're in the glide path. It's green. There's our airport and our runway right there. Now, the question is going to be, is it going to guide us directly to the runway, or are we going to be off a little bit because of the weather? That's the key. Oh, there's the lights. All right. Well, this has worked out even better than I expected it to. See? Sometimes you just never know. But because we can't really see anything, it's hard to know. Like, I had the lights. Oh, there they are. There we go.
500.
Yep. Getting a little bounced around here because of the weather. He might be watching other stuff right now. Also, Amela. Somebody else might be live. I don't know. Just never know with Joseph. Alright. We are getting bumped around everywhere. Alright. Alright, here we go, folks. Here we go. Over the runway. Come on, plane, settle down, settle down. Wow. Ooh, oh, big bump. Ooh. Ooh-wee. That was not easy. Well, we made it, though. There we go. So that's the sort of thing that you're going to have to kind of contend with regarding Alright, so we're just going to go ahead. We're going to let them know we're clear of the runway. Well, that was not easy. Yeah, either he's watching somebody else or he's I don't know. There's your guess is as good as mine. Oh, we got somebody standing out here in the rain waiting for us. That's nice of them. Well, there we go. So hopefully this gives you an idea of see them holding their hands up. We're just gonna come back around. Oh, thank you. That was okay. Like I said, somebody had made a comment about, you know, alright, I'm gonna come back around here. Asking about the sim on the Xbox Series S, that they can afford an S. So I'm hoping this gives a bit more of a clear idea of what to expect. Wow, that 747-8 has just sat there. And you'll see that a lot of times people will not, they'll just sit somewhere and either they're putting stuff together or, you know, I'm surprised they get timed out on the, like if they just sat there for so long that they're, see, look at my airspeed indicator, says we're doing 30 something knots. But yeah, it's a bit odd. All right. Let's do this. And let's just shut everything down. Put the engines off. So yeah, hopefully this gives people a better. Shut them down. Or maybe they are now. There they go. So yeah, you get all these warnings because you're shutting everything down, and it's just
Oral
like
warning, okay.
the plane doesn't like that it's being turned off and being put away for the day. We just gotta find our battery. There we go. 35 minutes. Not too shabby. So anyway, yeah, I hopefully this answers some questions and it's something that gives you some food for thought if if you're going to jump into this. But again, don't spend any money if you can help it right away. Just if you're going to do it, if you got the Game Pass, download the standard version. Plenty of planes to fly in to wet your whistle, and then if you feel comfortable enough, then you can go ahead and do. Uh, then you can start thinking about buying more planes and whatnot. Okay, it's not required, and don't think that you have to have what everybody else has in the sim. Okay, for your flight training, this is where you go. You have your basic handling, although it says 0%. It reset everything some time ago for me, even though I've done all that stuff. So you have eight areas of things to go through, and and then you can go on to takeoff and landing, VFR navigating. You could try the glider training. There is airliner training, bush pilot stuff, IFR navigation. So you can go through all that stuff and you can do it as often as you want. It's not like once you do it, it goes away. You can keep practicing at it as much as you want to. So, so yeah. So this is all you have two different areas here for the A320. Um, so you can, yeah, whenever you're ready to wet your whistle, you can do all this stuff. So, yeah. So there you go. So that's my suggestion. Uh, don't try to jump into the deep end of the pool right away unless you're like, I think I can do it, and I'm just gonna keep working at it until I sort things out. That's on you. Anyway, hopefully this helps out if you're thinking about it. And now would be a good time to kind of jump in because there's going to be more stuff happening once that Sim Update 12 is released here either next month or if it gets pushed out to April or whatever. It's possible. I don't want to say for sure it's going to be next month, but hopefully it will be. Lots of big things coming. So, lot to consider. If you have questions, once I post this on YouTube, throw in a comment. I'll try to answer it as best as I can. But I I'm gonna put links into a bunch of stuff, um, and that'll give you some reference to. And I think the take care, Amella. Looks like the ads are playing on the over here on Twitch right now. So I'll let those finish and then I'll wrap things up. Um, but yeah, I'll put in just some general information, but a lot of the stuff that's in there, if you're new or you're not sure, check out all the links in the description below the video. Scroll through it. The forums, link to the forums there. There's a link to my Discord. Um, there's a link to my Twitch. Thank you, Mela. So if you have any questions and you're on Discord, you can always DM me. If you're on Twitch, you can always send me a whisper. Whichever works out for you. If you have questions, I'll try to answer them as best as I can, or I'll point you to the direction where the answer is most likely going to be found at. So let me just make sure these ads finish playing, and then once the thing comes back green, then I'll wrap things up. But yeah, hopefully this kind of gives you an idea, And I didn't know anything at all when I first got into the sim. I had no knowledge. I wasn't talking to anybody. I didn't know any streamers or anything like that. So, I'm glad to try to talk to new players, anybody who's thinking about coming to the sim, stuff like that. So there you go. We just got World Update 12 last night, yesterday evening, essentially here on the west or in the East Coast, late afternoon on the West Coast. It was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon when they finally released it, and then so so yeah, just want to make sure the ads are all done, and then we'll wrap things up. You won't see the ads, of course, over on YouTube. Come on, thing. Why aren't you gone? There must be a bunch of ads playing. But yeah, and I'll put in some names. I'll put in some streamer names for folks who, if you want to just fly along, if and just fly around and do some scenic stuff. I'll put in some names of folks who are just absolutely fantastic in that respect. You can fly with them, you know, uh, just kind of get your feet wet and learn and be a part of the community. And that's the best part about this. So, but don't be detracted by the negativity, or anything like that. It can happen, and sometimes even the best streamers are can get a bit frustrated because it's like they're showcasing a product that they're very passionate about, and when things aren't working, it's kind of like ah. Anyway, um, well, I think I'm just going to end this because I don't know when this thing is going to go green again. So, anyway, do enjoy the rest of your Friday morning, afternoon, evening, early Saturday for some folks around the world. I have been and always shall be your host and pilot. And Monday, we should be back in the Junkers 52. We'll do a flight, uh, continuing our journey across America. Bye bye again, Amela. The journey across America in the Junkers 52. I've got the flight plan all pretty much set for that. So I will see you Monday. If I don't see you anywhere else, I'm sure I'll see you some folks around. Uh, so yeah, until Monday, peace, live long and prosper.